Hey guys, today we're working on this outboard motor 9.9, basically 10 horsepower Johnston 2-stroke boat motor here, and it's been sitting for a long time. I don't know when the last time I ran it. It's been sitting for a while, but we got a really good deal on it, and I'm gonna see if I can get it running. So come on with me and let's have a look at this. I'll pop this cover off here. There is. Underneath, right here, is a little flip. Goes off just like that. I'll set this to the side here. Okay. I think it's clean underneath here so far. Lots of bugs and webs and everything, but everything's in really good shape. First of all, we're going to pull the spark plugs out of this thing. Let's see what's all. Yeah, here, there's two spark plugs up on the top. Two spark plugs up in the top right here. So let's see if we can pull those out. This motor looks fairly clean as if we get the cover off. It's in really good shape. So if we're sitting outside for a long time and a bunch of snow piled onto it and everything, we're gonna see what looks like on the inside. We're gonna pull these spark plugs off. Plug one. And spark plug two. That's my inspection camera. I have it sitting in the bottom cylinder there. And it looks pretty clean. So no mouse in there. It spins pretty nicely. There, touch top dead center. And back down again. Okay, let's try the other one. Cylinder's top dead center. Can't quite focus. It's so close. Get it down. It looks pretty clean too. There's no obstacles inside the cylinder there, and it looks pretty clean, just a little bit dirty. I'm gonna throw a compression tester on there and see what we come up with. Let's see if we get this. Yeah, a couple of good pulls. Just under 120, so about, I'd say about 110. So the other. Do a fast and wide open throttle. This one's pretty close to the same, just a little under, probably say 100, 105, something like that. Considering how old the board is, how long it's been sitting for, that is exceptional for compression in each cylinder with 110 and like 105 in the top, 110 on the top, 105 in the bottom. That's really good for compression for sitting around for so long. It just shows you how good and well built these Johnston 2-stroke motors were for their time. So with that done, we're gonna check the air box, make sure it's clean, and then we'll probably check. We might try and check taking the carburetor off and seeing what's all in there, and after that, we'll try starting the motor up. All right, so the air box is on top and the back here. We're just gonna take these screws off here from the top. And that is exceptionally clean. I honestly thought I found a mouse nest in here somewhere at some point, but I have not seen one yet, and that's a really good sign. Okay, after some good struggle, this choke just pulls right off the back side here. There's a little choke in here, and it slides through inside here, and this just pulls out like that. It took a little struggle, but I got it off. And that allows for me to take this airbox thing right out of there. A bit of finessing you get out of there. There's a little that bar right there got in the way, but you can see with a little finessing, you can get it out of there quite nicely. So we're gonna get this carburetor off. There's 2 bolts here. There's one on the, or not, sorry, there's one on this side, one on the other side of it here. Or get to on the other side, I have to take the pull start string off. So it's just 1 bolt right in the middle there, threads out, and then it should it'll just pop right off. Like that. It's the whole assembly. You leave it hang there. Careful not to let some spring out of there. There might be spring inside of there, so you don't want to let that spring out. Should be careful with that. Make sure it stays together, and then you can access the bolt on this side here. Bolts in here are 7/16. So we're gonna get access to that this little nut down there. This is just a flat plate here. Just loosen it off. And then the pulls it out of the way so you can access this nut right here. Behind you there. Turn it off. Hold on. Now we've got to get the other one on the other side. So it's very easy to access. So it's right here. There's also the fuel line attached on this side. Right there, you can see that there. Other than that, your carburetor will pull right out of here. Not much of a work table here today, but that's what we're working with. Mostly I'm concerned about what is in this float bowl here. So we're gonna take the bottom of this off and then make sure the jets are cleaned. Float appears to be good. One thing I am noticing here, I'll put some brake cleaner on here. I'll take this gasket off just so it doesn't get bad. But I'm noticing is that this jet here looks plugged. Come off. You can see right through there, so that's a good sign. It's just not plugged. There's a little bit of dirt in there. I'll clean that out. All right, I got the carburetor cleaned out. We're gonna put it back in. Before I put it back in, I'm just gonna clean up some of the debris that's been sitting in here for who knows how long. So, clean up this air box a little bit. The fuel line on first. All right, don't forget to put the choke back on. It's this guy right here. So it's right. Ah, jeez. Right there. There. This bar here flips this way, goes this way. Goes through that hole right there. There we go. That's popped in there. Okay, it's a little tricky to see, but it goes into there. You can't slide it on just onto that end there. It has to go. You kind of have to pull it, take this thing off with it. It's got a bigger end on that end, so it doesn't slide through there. So when you pull back on it, It actually has a stopping point there. Go back forward again. So yeah, that's your choke. For this thing here, this is the fuel. It just has a richer and lean thing on the back there. So as you can see, there's a little stop on the top there. This thing here has a stop there. So I just turned it into the lean direction. So when I put it back on again, I know I just put it back onto the lean spot like that. Just like that. So you can put the cover back on and then slide that thing back into there. I guess put this thing back on. It just slides into there. Like so. Line up the holes inside of there. Best you can. It's the metal in this, and then yeah, slide this thing back on like so. It just pulls off. So if you're trying to take it off, it pulls off. It's a little tight. I had to get a screwdriver in behind there. But yeah, I just had it stuck on the lean area. Just push it back on. That, and now it's all the way lean. And then if you want, you can go all the way richer there. So that's how that works. I'm really curious to see if this thing will actually start or not, so I'm going to try and see if it will start with some starter fluid here. So we're going to put the spark plugs back in. We're going to see if this thing even likes to, will want to run. Put this back on. Put this back on. Okay, a little bit of starter fluid in there. That sounded promising. That's cool. That's pretty awesome that it just fires up like that a little bit with a little bit of starter fluid, but I will get a gas tank and hook it up and see if I can get it running and put her some water and make sure she's flowing out. Make sure the water pump is actually working, and then we gotta check the lag oil. It's usually like even oil in the lag. And then we'll get her on the water at some point too, but yeah, stay tuned and let's see if we can get this thing actually going. So until next time, take care.